Hello, welcome to the Jim RPG Show. So the 3060 Ti reviews are in, and it shows that it has very close performance to the 2080 Super, which was what I reported a couple of weeks ago in my video. So that video is still very valid if you want to go and check out specs and performance and discussion on that card. Now today I still want to talk more about the 3060 Ti because for the last couple of weeks I was thinking, well, should I maybe buy a 3060 Ti instead versus a 3080 because I could save a lot of money with that build. And in fact, if I did a 3060 Ti build, I could save about $800 to $1,000 on my build. But then, the more I thought about doing a 3060 Ti, the more I thought that it's very close to a 2080 Super, and a 2080 Super is very close to a PlayStation 5. So should I just get a console instead? So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to look at the pros and cons between, say, a mid-tier PC build versus a PlayStation 5. And I guess at the end of this, you can decide for yourself which one is right for you. Now, if you like this video, make sure to click the like button and also to subscribe to this channel for more gaming videos like this. So let's do a quick summary of the 3060 Ti, and essentially the 3060 Ti is a 2080 Super. And as you can see here, even though this is an official NVIDIA chart with NVIDIA picked titles and NVIDIA numbers, essentially you will get a 2080 Super level of performance. And you can double check this with any third-party review site, and most of them will tell you that the 3060 Ti is a little bit better than a 2080 Super. So you can see here with Tech Power Up, the 3060 Ti is about 5% better than the 2080 Super at 4K and about 3% better at 1440p. If you want to compare the 3060 Ti to the 2080 Super or the 2070 Super, you'll see here on this relative performance chart on the left, it's about the same as a 2080 Super and about 13% better than a 2070 Super. And if you compare it with a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, the PS5 is close enough to a 2070 Super level of performance, and the Xbox Series X is about 2080 Super level of performance. So the question is, if a 3060 Ti alone costs $399, then a 3060 Ti PC is going to cost a lot more than that after you include the motherboard and RAM and SSD. And when you compare that with a PlayStation 5, that only costs $499 in total. So the question is, why would you get the PC versus a PS5 if they have the same performance? Now, obviously with a PC, you can do a lot more with the PC. You can do productivity tasks and do real work with the PC. And I don't need to tell you guys that. But for this video, I just want to compare the differences between gaming benefits on both systems. So let's take a look at some costs of building a PC, and we start with the 3060 Ti build. Now, if I was to do something similar to a console, then I would use an i7-10700K, which is an 8-core 16-thread processor. You could use a 3700X if you wanted to, and I think they're about the same price at the moment anyways. I think the 10700K is a little bit faster if you overclock it. I've used 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you can use 16 gigabytes, but RAM is pretty cheap now. So if you want to use 16 gigabytes, which is the same as the console, then you can just minus $50 from here. And I've got a placeholder there for a 2060, but it's going to be about $450, I think, for the 3060 Ti after you get the aftermarket card that you want. I think roughly it's going to come out to about $1,300. I did say $1,200 before, but I think if you shop around, maybe you could get it to $1,200. Although right now it seems like it's going to be pretty hard to find things at MSRP. So it's going to be roughly between $1,200, $1,300 for a build that's going to be the same as a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X level of performance. So the question is, what can you build with, say, $500? So this is my budget build, and this is where I squeezed everything to the max. And I don't really recommend this because this is not going to last very long, and it's certainly not on the level of PlayStation 5. It's more like somewhere between a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5. We'll start with at the top, and the CPU is a quad-core CPU, so 4-core 8-thread CPU. It's $100. You could go up to a 6-core 12-thread CPU, but that's going to cost you $180. I've got 16 gigs of RAM there, 500 gig SSD. The GPU is a 1660 Super, so that would be okay for 1080p gaming. And really, this is really a last gen build if you really want to put it that way. This is nowhere near a PS5 level of performance. So the question is, when does it become reasonable to get a PC? And I would say that it's probably around the 3080 level, because if you get a 3070, that PC is still going to cost you $1,500 to $1,700 for that PC. And that's going to be 3 times the cost of the console, but you're only getting about 10 or 20% performance difference. But if you get the 3080, that's probably going to be about 50% performance difference to the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox, where you can, I guess, kind of justify the extra cost now because there's no way you can get that performance on a console. Alright, let's talk about the pros and the cons for PC and console, and we'll start with the pros for PC first. And the first point I want to make is that the ray tracing and DLSS on the NVIDIA Ampere GPUs is just going to be much better than it is on PlayStation 5 on Xbox Series X, because on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, they're really only just starting to develop for that right now, and on PC, on the NVIDIA GPUs, they have been doing it for the last couple of years. So I think the NVIDIA GPUs, they're going to be way ahead on that front. Now, number 2, there's full graphics customization on PC, and all PC gamers know that already. So you can adjust your settings how you want it, and you're not really going to be able to do that on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Number 3 is the fact that there's better hardware build quality. I was watching the Gamers Nexus PS5 teardown, and it didn't seem like there was very good build quality in the PS5, and you would expect that because they have to keep the cost down. And on the PC, you're going to be able to get premium components, and you're going to be able to choose exactly how much you want to spend and how much quality you want for your components. Now, number 4 is third-party digital stores, and there's just a lot more choice in terms of digital stores than there is on the PS5, where there's only one store. Number 5 is the fact that the PC is almost an Xbox. So if you go into the Microsoft Store, you're going to be able to get all of the Xbox games on your PC. Number 6 is free online multiplayer. So on the PC, I think this is a big one, because if you were to play on console, you have to pay an extra $50 on the console per year to play online. So I think that adds up after a while. So if you played 5 years, that would be about $250. So the true cost of your console is $750. And of course, number 7, there are lots and lots of other pros for PC, and I'm not going to get into that. You can comment down below if you want to talk about those. But of course, there's productivity in terms of the PC being able to do productivity work. There's better mod support on the PC as well. So there's just a lot of things that are great on PC. So in terms of cons for the PC, I didn't want to put too many here because I know that's different for everybody. But the one that I did put is that it's very expensive. And as you could see from before, the PC builds, whether you build a budget PC or a premium PC, it's still very expensive to build either one. Now let's talk about pros for the consoles, and the pros for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Number 1 is of course the value, because you simply can't get that performance of an 8-core 16-thread CPU and a 2070 Super performance GPU for $499. So number 2 is the fact that there are Sony exclusive games on the PS5. So if you like Spider-Man or you like Demon's Souls, then you want to get a PS5 because that's the only place you can play those games. So number 3 is backwards compatibility with PS4 and Xbox One. And I think that's a really cool option because we didn't get this with the PS4. And for the PS5 now, you're really getting like 2 consoles in one. Number 4 is the retail option, and even though you only have one digital store, you still have the option, if you have the PS5 disc version of the console, you can shop around to get the hard copy version of your games. So number 5 is better 4K performance via developer optimization, and that's because all of the PS5 and Xbox Series games are developed for 4K, and the developer is going to make sure that it runs well at that resolution. So cons for PS5 and Xbox Series X, there really is no customization available for the hardware or the software. You're really given what you get from Sony. So if they put in some very standard parts, then that's what you're given, and you don't really have any choice over it. So if you want premium parts, then you really have to go with a PC. And of course, in terms of software, what I'm talking about there is graphical options. So you're not going to be able to go in and adjust all of your graphical settings. Okay, so that's going to do it for this one. If you have any comments, make sure to comment down below, and I'll definitely engage in the discussion. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button, and also to subscribe to this channel for more gaming videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.